it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to the Empowered Harmonizers, the beautiful viewers who have been with us for 6 months, 12 months, or maybe you just joined us. Much love and much empowerment to you. And before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. Thank you so much. It's donations from viewers like you that keep this channel alive. It keeps the content coming forth. It inspires me and lets me know that the content is actually hitting home and resonating with you and making a difference. Whether it's $5, $7, $10, $40, whatever it is you're doing, thank you so much. And for those of you who have inquired about where to donate, it's right there on the home button on YouTube here, where you can read the about, and then there's a little tiny button on the right hand side. So thank you so much. And I want to zoom in today and focus in on a very poignant and profound comment that a viewer made, and that was a comment from the narcissist or psychopath in her life that stated basically, you are a broken human being. These sort of statements, these sort of quips that I call them, these sort of off-the-cuff, hurtful and mean, rude, provocative statements, which are designed to emblaze you and embattle you in a fight, a struggle, or furthermore, just kind of beat you down into the corner where you can't get up, beat you down to the floor where you then take their words at face value and then you refuse to keep going on. You refuse to, take heart in yourself. You refuse to take empathy with yourself. You are, that's all you can see. It's kind of like a huge billboard that all you can see is those negative statements, and it becomes very hurtful and very crippling to move on. And so I want you to understand that these statements are coming from a source of ignorance. So as some people might say, well, just consider the source. When it comes from a narcissist or a psychopath, I want you to use the tools of cognitive reframing and metacognition to understand precisely what is going on. So cognitive reframing means actually seeing something in a different light, a different meaning that is empowering to you. And oftentimes it is closer to reality, and it will help you to understand and deal with it, not only if this has been done to you in the past, but if it's going to you ongoing or happens in the future. And so cognitive reframing as well as metacognition. Metacognition is the awareness of consciousness where you're able to see what is going on or think about what's going on in the present moment. So the role of metacognition might say, wow, my feet are really warm and it feels good, or it feels good to be working on myself today. It's a little bits of awareness that go on. I want to get a cup of water. I want to get a cup of coffee while you're listening to this video. So that is the really state of higher awareness, oftentimes which is barely audible, but yet is really trying to get your attention. You might push it down, or you might pull it up and say, okay, I hear you. Yes, I'm responding to your call. Your little voice within, as they say. And it is this inner dialogue which is so crucial to understanding and healing and distinguishing yourself, pulling yourself apart from these word salad or narcissistic quips which are meant to ill-define you or create basically a storehouse of negative validation. So when we talk about cognitive reframing, it's putting it into basically like a translation. And I want you to really understand both of these tools and how they work together. The tool of metacognition, which is the ability to think of something while it's occurring. In other words, while someone is using these spats or these terms, how you process them. In other words, the expectation or the little stop button that goes, that is not real, consider the source. That is not real, that is just narcissist salad. Narc salad, that's word salad. It's your ability to stop and grab hold and control yourself rather than just launching out into a tirade of feeling like you've been hit, slammed, or, triggered. So it's really important to get that little window of time between those quips and really get into an awareness and say, next time this happens or while this is happening, I'm entering into, as Peace and Harmony says, a state of metacognition. So I can now live and exist above the statement, and I can furthermore exit the room, exit the fight, exit the relationship, break it off. I know what is going on, and I'm not getting succumb. I'm not sinking in this emotional quicksand. And I'm using metacognition to become aware of it. And then the role of cognitive reframing, which means putting it into a different meaning, categorizing it in a different way. So, for example, when someone tells you, you're a broken human being, okay, it really means that they're saying this because it really means that you are able to see through their facade and see the broken me. In other words, the narcissist who tells you that you're a broken human being, really, I want you to interpret it and translate it almost like a foreign language. The narcissist will use these sort of statements off the cuff, designed exactly to pattern interrupt you and disempower you, break you down. It's not a positive like, let's work on this. I mean, it is fighting words. And so when this happens, I want you to translate and get good at translating this narc word salad and what this really means. When they tell you you're a broken human being, they're basically just lashing out and telling you you have the ability. In other words, you've stuck with them long enough. You're trying to break down their facade long enough that you're going to see the insecure person, the ignorant person, the completely immature, like a lot of viewers say, this individual has a maturity of a toddler, that you can actually see that within them. So you present a threat. Your perseverance, your sensitivity, your love for them, the way you want to love them, breaks them down. A very astute viewer said, I wonder if these individuals can even are even happy at all. And oftentimes these individuals cannot tolerate love. They cannot tolerate relationships because that would mean to be real, to relate to them. And these individuals have a mask and a facade of being charming, of being debonair, of being suave, of being rich, of being, powerful, prestigious. They will exude this sort of false air of confidence. And those people who go along with it, well, those are the inner circle. Those are the quote unquote relationships, but they're not really connecting to the person within. They're connecting to the facade. They are only having a relationship with a shell or a facade of this individual, not the heart. And the heart is where it's at. The heart is eventually going to break through the facade, the truth. So these are the people who, at their in their last words, their last dying days, are extremely unhappy. In other words, they have lived a life of pleasure, but not a life of happiness. It's very distinct, pleasure versus happiness. And to that discussion, bear with me one moment, The Seeds of Happiness is a wonderful book. It's very esoteric. It's by an Omran Mikhail Arvanhov, and he talks in this book, a little book, he's a guru on the seeds of happiness, and he talks about how happiness is a choice, and it's a chronic, ongoing feeling of being content, of being happy, and that this is very distinct from pleasure, which is like a momentary bite of food, or a momentary kiss, or a momentary flash of status. So these people, the narcissists, are adept at hoarding pleasure. In other words, they take it from outside of them versus having that fire, that passion, that happiness within. So in other words, these are the people who erupt out of anger. If you are not the perfect narcissist supply. These are the people who make these sort of quips, and speak this word salad. It's to be in defense of themselves and cause the hurting words. So, they'll make these other statements, which are pathological lies. You are the most beautiful woman on earth. And this really means I hope you buy into this because you buy into everything that I say. And I'm putting up this decoy so you don't have to search and find for the real me. In other words, if I can just tell you what you want to hear, you'll never know how I truly feel. You'll never have to have a discussion or communication with me on this because you're just buying what I'm saying. So it's the old decoy. It's the psychopathic way that they attack and target the vulnerable is by telling them what they want to hear. And it's always false. It's coming from the facade. And especially the psychopath, they're very, very adept at energy shift of their countenance, of their personality, of their demeanor. They can turn one on and off like a light switch, and it's very scary if you've ever seen it. It is very cold, calculated, the words that they say, whether it's to the tune of the positive, do you want to have a house together? Do you want to call this our couch? They're getting you to come off of your individuality and come into their target. Their trap. And so it is nothing but a trap. It is a state of entrapment. It is not a relationship. As one viewer had stated, that they don't take lovers, they take prisoners. They take hostages. Really, that's what a psychopath relationship is like. It's not all it looks on the outside. You have to have the metacognition, the experience, and the knowledge to see beyond the statements that hurt, to see beyond the looks that kill, the seducing looks that they will do to lure you in, and then use these sort of statements. These statements which, do you want to have a couch together? And then meanwhile, they have, 2 or 3 other supply that they're actively juggling on the side, that they're targeting, cheating with, living with, turning pictures up and down, just putting forth a decoy of a life. But meanwhile, in the garage, on the other line, in the bathroom, when they're at work, they have a whole other tirade of relationships and duality, duplicity of life. The psychopath, it's not uncommon that they have 2 and 3 other whole life and relationships going on. They have a plethora of energy for high-risk behaviors. It's just they live above reason and the law. They're lacking in prefrontal, connections, which is responsible for morality and judgment. Very poor judgment. They do not learn. They do not learn from mistakes. They have, sexual high-risk behaviors, putting people in high-risk, quote-unquote, fear-inducing, sexual provocative ongoings, where it's not socially responsible, or even dangerous, i.e. in public, i.e. painful, and things like sexually transmitted diseases. They just, nothing stops them. They do not learn. Much to the evidence of the contrary, they can't keep a job, they can't keep a relationship, they've got health problems, they don't attend to their health problems, they live in utter, total neglect of themselves, and, they don't do anything about it, and they're just put others in very high risk, dangerous, unhealthy, and, to the point of losing one's health, one's life, one's finances, one's job, one's home. This is serious stuff. So these sort of comments, you have to be very careful of. And if you want me to quote unquote interpret some of these, if you want to put little messages down, and I can do more of a interpretation of this psychobabble, narc talk, designed to hurt you, and what it really means, because there's always a truth behind what they say, and it's oftentimes those negative quips are not reality. So don't take them to heart. Don't take them at face value. Realize it's just the quips of a facade designed to hurt you, so you'll engage in more interaction with the facade, and you will never ever see the person within, even though that's what you were pining for. That's why people stay on so long, is because they're trying to get to that nugget of truth. They feel like they can save them or help them, and I will do anything for you. Whatever the love bombing had romanticized you or seduced you into, do not take the narcissist seduction. Do not further try to seduce yourself into believing it will work. Do not engage in the pathological lies. and trying to buy into the illusion. You are right. You know what is right for you. You know what is right for your family. You know what is right for your profession, your health. Bottom line, you know what is right. And I can tell you now, you better stop it all or it will be stopped for you. This is your buddy. Peace and harmony with you here today. Much love to the Empowered Harmonizers, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.